I welcome all of you to a very exciting trading session and also the session of market movers, which is going to be equally exciting as we are waiting for the Federal Reserve's monetary policy announcement. But there, I am not expecting any exciting change in the monetary policy, but we have to watch out for the economic projections, and I think therein lies the key. And if we consider the market positioning ahead of this FOMC monetary policy announcement, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is trading on its highest level, and it looks increasingly overbought. For last couple of sessions, it hasn't moved much, and it has only consolidated on these levels closer to the all-time highs. And in today's session, it is seeing some selling momentum on the higher side. And as the session progresses and when the FOMC policy announcement will be there, I think we can expect a sell-off kind of move in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and on the higher side, we should be ready to go for the short sell if we have some key levels breached in today's session. So we will go into the technical aspects of that as well. There are three key developments compared to the economic environment in the last time when the FOMC meeting was held, that was in January. And after that, we have seen the rapid rollout of vaccination program in the United States, and also the 1.9 trillion stimulus package has been now signed in law. And as a result of both these developments, we have seen that the economic pain caused by the coronavirus pandemic is to some extent is easing, and we are seeing uptick in the economic data as well. And one more thing which we need to keep in mind, that inflationary expectations are going up. More and more stimulus has been added after this pandemic, and as a result of that, the US Treasury yields have now gone on to the highest level for a year. And this thing, I think, might prompt the economic projections to be revised from the Fed, and because of that, we might see significant impact on the financial instrument in today's session. So we need to be getting ready for that. On the data docket, we had these crude oil inventory data, and here the recent trend of rising crude oil inventory continued for last week as well, where we saw that crude oil inventories have gone up by 2.44 million barrels. Though this time around the magnitude is less, but still the crude oil inventory buildup is happening, and that has resulted in sell-off in the light crude oil after this data was released. And now I think we, even if you go by the technical formation, the light crude oil has been on the weaker footing, and it has now accelerated on its downhill journey. So if you had gone in for the trade, short sell trade, as per I think yesterday only I had talked about this possibility, so you might be in profit. Now let's see what's in store on the technical front for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and then we will also take a look on the Euro USD. Let's start with the Dow Jones Industrial Average technical outlook. This is the daily time frame chart, and here the Dow Jones Industrial Average is sitting atop on these highs, and I think we have to be preparing for this possible corrective move after this consolidation. And if we go by the price move after the start of US trading session, the selling pressure is there, and because of that, I think unless and until we have any clear cut sustained breakout on the higher side, there are some key levels to watch out for on the lower time frame. If those are breached, I think we can even expect the Dow Jones Industrial Average to change its trajectory for next couple of days, and it might then get closer to this prior swing high, which can be expected to act as a near-term support. So in today's session, we will have to see how the price action unfolds. And I think on the lower side, These consolidation phase low should be good enough to be considered as a key marker in today's session. If the price drops and sustains below that, then I think we are all set to see the Dow Jones Industrial Average continuing to decline toward these prior consolidation phase level of around 32,000. Right now it is pretty high, around 32,800. And if we take into consideration this possibility, then there is possible move of almost more than 2 percentage point, which we can capitalize. But for that, we also have to keep in mind that the underlying momentum has been bullish for quite a while now. So we haven't really seen any change on that front. Both these technical parameters are still continuing to point northward. But the only thing is that last couple of days, the Dow Jones Industrial Average has consolidated on the higher side, and that does open up the possibility of a reversal happening here. But for that, I think the FOMC announcement holds the key, and we will have to wait till we have those projections. And also, there is a press conference by Mr. Jerome Powell, so we will have to wait it out till then. And after that, only the clarity is likely to emerge. And then, using this formation of these three key SMAs, where I think the immediate support in the near term has been above these 100 SMA. So if in today's session we see that 100 SMA level gets breached, then I am expecting the possible decline towards even these 200 SMA, which is quite far from the current levels. And then the stop loss can be kept anywhere closer to the day's high, and that level should be good enough, as if we are going to see any continuation of the upward momentum, then of course that level is going to be key. So anything above it should be a strict no for shorting. But if we have the breakout below this key support zone, then I think we should be getting ready to short it further. And as I said while explaining the 4 hourly chart also, this should be done after the key releases come in from the Fed. Now let's see what's happening in the currency space. This is the daily time frame chart, and here in today's session, the Euro USD hasn't moved much. It has consolidated closer to the yesterday's low. The undertone has been bearish, but in today's session, it has remained sideways, and I think it might be simply waiting for the Fed to make its announcement. Economic projections will come in, and then the market participants will have more clarity. So that might be the case, but from technical perspective, it is all bearish. And on the higher side, we have to keep in mind these first support, which has now been breached, and I think it is likely to act as the near-term resistance for the Euro USD. Even in yesterday's session, I had talked about this possibility, and then we did saw this move on the lower side, and after that it has gone into the consolidation phase. It hasn't moved much, but both these technical parameters, the regression curve as well as the pivot point series, both these parameters are pointing down, and I think the bearishness is likely to prevail unless and until we see any significant policy change coming in from the Fed, and that is pretty much not expected in today's session. So moving on to the immediate price range, which we need to watch out for, the confluence area of these key SMAs of 50 and 100 and 200 SMAs will need to be considered as the near-term resistance. So anything below this confluence zone should be good enough for shorting, and I think we can adapt the strategy to sell on the breakout, and for that we will need the price to breach these day's lows, the price area of around 1.189. And if we see continuation of these bearishness, then I am expecting in due course of time even the levels closer to 1.18. So there is not much risk in this trade. Of course, there is always a risk, but the magnitude, the stop loss is not going to be too wide. I think the day's high should be good enough to act as the stop loss for the day. And we have this resistance area, this confluence zone of 250 SMA, which is likely to keep the prices capped. Of course, if we do see a breach of these resistance, then we will of course have to step aside and remain on the sideline. But if we have a clear breakout on the lower side, then I think that will be the time to jump in and go for short sell trades in the Euro USD. So that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write to me in the feedback section and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated with trading in the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you next time. Till then, goodbye.